Good morning, good afternoon, or good early, super early morning for some people watching this from Australia down under, or those in the evening over there in the UK. So this is going to be fantastic. My name's Adam Belansky, CEO and founder of Sierra Pacific Group, coming to you live to discuss PitchIT. And I'm going to bring on my co-host, Sean Lardo, good old friend of mine. How you doing, man?
Good old friend. Good old friend.
Good
Doing
old
great.
friend.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, I happen to see something on your watch, like you have like on your wrist. It's a watch, and
Yeah,
you usually don't wear a watch. So I just
you-
happened to see that and point it out.
I
Say,
do wear I
say
do wear
something.
watches. I do. Well, thank you for noticing. I do wear watches, but like honestly, I'd rather just wear like beaded bracelets and stuff. Like that's like,
That's the cool factor. Yeah, for sure.
is it? It's just lazy because on a beaded bracelet, I can literally just I don't have to I don't have to undo it and whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway, but yeah, I'm trying to tell. That's why I was on time for this today. I looked at my watch. I was like, oh, it's time.
it is on time. So,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, so we're here to talk about Pitch It.
Yes.
Obviously, it's Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, or 3 in the morning
Yeah.
in
Exactly.
Australia, or 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. in the UK.
You know,
I know those times specifically. So we have a complete international live endeavor
yes.
today. So
I
pitch.
mean, it's a beautiful thing, right? We are global on a regular basis now with PitchIt. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm in Columbus, Ohio right now for ASCII. So that's why I'm in a lovely hotel, the Hilton in Columbus, which by the way, if you have not been to Columbus, we're over by Easton. It's probably one of the coolest places. I didn't realize how cool it was over here. Um, Badass. Anyway, so let's talk about PitchIt. Yes, shall we?
Yeah, we're here. I'm waiting for you to get through this. Let's see.
Good. Let's go. Let's go. Ready? So, PitchIt. 5 years in the making of doing this, right? 5 years running, hosted by ConnectWise, sponsored by ConnectWise, essentially. It is a Shark Tank-like concept competition. And what the goal is to find the best emerging vendors, the startup, innovative vendors that are able to blend well in the ConnectWise ecosystem, as well as, most importantly, be able to support the MSP's missions, right? Now, as I mentioned, it's a competition. Right now, we currently have 26 vendors that are in competing. We're trying to become one of the 3 finalists that will actually present live on stage at IT Nation Connect November 8th for first place prize money of $70,000, second place 30,000, third place steak knives. Also important to know that the 3 finalists, they if they're selected as one of the 3 finalists, they already won a prize by getting a free booth space at IT Nation Connect this year. So worth its weight in gold there. I don't think it's said enough, but again, IT Nation Connect, even when I was a startup vendor, was one of the best shows I could go to get
Mhm.
business. So you're talking about prime real estate at one of the best conferences for free. It's bananas. B
Yeah,
A N A
speaking of
S.
that, like, I mean, let's bring that up. Let's IT Nation Connect registration is open.
It
Call for
is.
speakers is open. And so it's gonna be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to being down there. I know you're gonna be down there, and half of ConnectWise. Well, I wouldn't say that because there's thousands of employees. So, and your camera just went out, Sean. So that's awesome. Are you even there? Did you just disconnect? Awesome. Well, he just disconnected. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this show. And so I'm going to bring on Darren. How you doing, Darren?
Hi, Adam. How are we?
Awesome. Doing very well. You're from Scalable MSP. And where are you coming from?
So we're in the UK, between Manchester and Liverpool, probably well known for football club.
Yeah, nice. Very cool. So, Darren, tell us a little bit about Scalable MSP. Let us know who you are and kind of what you guys do.
Yeah, so Scalable MSP was basically born out of demand. So my background is the MSP world. Moved into consulting. So a big motto is helping people become more efficient, profitable, and have more time. What we see is there's lots of businesses that don't really know their finances or their profitability, and the owners and the leadership team are running around putting fires out constantly, driving the business, but are they driving it in the right way? And our consultancy team helps them to build the systems. So we believe that growth and stability of any business comes and starts with a solid system. So we are very much in the ConnectWise house, so we deal with all the ConnectWise ecosystem and help MSPs to get the maximum benefit out of that.
Really, really cool. Awesome. And I love the name of your company. And the reason being is I have this cool
You
book.
have the book.
Scaling with Purpose. And I'm all about creating systems, processes, and integrating those systems and process to be able to scale your MSP with that growth mindset, right? It's super important. And so, Darren, can you tell us like how you maybe tell us a little bit about how you got your start, right? How did Scalable MSP kind of come to fruition?
Yep. So I've been in the MSP world for about 20, 25 years.
Okay.
For the last 12 years, been a part of Evolve. So it used to be called HTG, now called Evolve with ConnectWise, the peer group. And that's really where I learned a lot and cut my teeth and learned, actually, let's stop reinventing the wheel. Let's do as we're told. Let's do what all the big providers tell us. You know, people like Dipple, ConnectWise, University. Because what you do is you just keep reinventing the wheel every 6 months because you think you know better, but actually you're not getting rid of the problems. And then off the back of that, Scalable just started to grow because of the community, the peer group community evolved, people in there, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? And then we decided to build a brand off the back of it. And it's just gone from strength to strength since that, basically. Now, you know, really looking at the ConnectWise ecosystem and bringing that together. I think there's a lot of people that see them as separate entities, you know, reporting or PSA or automate, and no one really brings it together. And that's what we really try and do. And it's all with the end in mind. So, you know, what data do you need to run your size of business or the size of business that you want to get? So you're not going too far or you're not doing enough. So, you know, what data do you actually need to financially run your business to know the profitability of whatever line items you need to monitor?
Excellent. Awesome. That sounds really awesome, Darren. So we don't have just you on here. So we have two contestants. So I'm going to go ahead and put you back in the green room. That's awesome. Fantastic. We'll dive deeper into that here shortly. I want to bring on Hamish.
Hamish.
Hi.
Hamish. My Lord. He even told us how to do it. Hamish. Adam is bilingual, if you don't know
what
this.
a horse eats.
Hi, Adam. Hi, Sean.
What's up, Hamish? Hamish, what time is it for you? What time is it for you, Hamish?
For me, it's 5 a.m.
Nice.
Yep.
Do you have a family?
I do, yeah. Yeah, wife and 2 kids. They're definitely asleep right now.
You should wake them up. You should be like, if I'm up, you're up. That's the joys of parenthood.
I'm not sure they'd appreciate that.
That's the joys of parenthood. Hey, get up, kids. I'm up. Merry Christmas. Psych, it's not Christmas. Ah.
Oh boy.
Oh my God, Hamish is gone.
Oh, he just accidentally left.
Well, okay. While we're at it, what did I miss?
Oh wait, you missed absolutely nothing, and he's back now.
Sorry, I'm back. Sorry about that.
I didn't really mean being mean to your kids.
I'm just saying he came back a lot faster.
Well, I had to find a new outlet to plug in because this outlet here was in charge of my laptop. That's why it kicked me off. I had no clue. So literally, I had my cord stretched across this entire table over here.
You know, if there's a red blinking light with a battery and a warning comes up on the screen multiple times.
I have a full screen on this, so I can't see. Like I'm on full screen. But thank you, Adam.
My big face. Anyway,
it is big, very, very large.
Hamish, tell us a little bit about BeeCastle. Give us a little intro to your company and a little bit about you.
Okay, cool. So I'm Hamish Rickaby. I'm the CTO and co-founder at BeeCastle. So our mission at BeeCastle is kind of to be the #1 data science platform for MSPs. So what BeeCastle is, it's a data analytics platform that helps MSP owners, account managers, sales managers do their jobs better. The way we do this is through providing what we call actionable analytics that helps our users understand their customers better and what they can do to improve relationships with their customers, as well as sales and ultimately customer profitability. So the platform helps MSPs reduce churn with their customers by helping them understand which of them have been talked to and, more importantly, which haven't. So we help with understanding which customers are more important as well by providing a customer segmentation and prioritization framework. We help with sales by exposing in a simple to use UI an understanding of which products are being purchased, or products and services being purchased, and more importantly, which aren't. And we help with customer profitability as well by looking at customer spend over time, as well as costs on servicing the customer, both product and labor cost as well. So I've tried to provide a full, I guess, cycle of, relationship analytics, profitability, what you can sell, tracking those sales, and revenue trends as well.
Awesome. That's really, really slick. So are you considered a CRM system?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I think typically we would get compared to two different types of systems. So one being CRM, and that's actually where we started. We started with relationship tracking. So looking at interactions between organizations and their customers, and just tracking that stuff over time and exposing that in the UI. The other kinds of systems that we get compared to often are kind of operational reporting systems. So just looking at data within these systems and then reporting on trends over time. So it's kind of a blend between those two things. And I think that's one of the things that's relatively unique about us, as well as blending that interaction data along with your financial data. So you can kind of understand how actions that people in your organization take will actually impact your financials.
Are those, wait, so the financial aspect behind that, are you saying that, whose financials are you referring to?
Yeah, so the MSP's financials in relation to their customers. So what they're selling, how much they're selling it for, their revenue, their profitability. So we provide analysis across customers, across products, across agreement types, those sorts of things.
So it's almost like you're doing a real-time P&L.
Yeah, basically. Yes. That's
okay.
right. So live integration with the PSAs. We pull all that stuff out in real.
That's my next question is, okay, so how are you pulling data in, right? Like, so so I'm just thinking a typical MSP will work with almost 15 to 20 vendors, right? Between whatever they're using to host, like RMM, PSA, all that, and also what they're reselling, such as like VoIP or hardware or whatever. And then even with that though, they may be working with multiple entities for as far as distributors, manufacturers, etc. So how are you? So are you working in conjunction with price books, or how does that look? How does that work?
Yeah. So our main source, we have two main sources of data within for BeeCastle. So we don't consider ourselves, I guess the first thing is we don't consider ourselves the system of record for really anything. We integrate with other platforms, so users don't enter data into our system. We pull it in, we analyze, and we present it back. So the two main sources for interactions, we take Office 365 or M365 to understand which any emails that have been sent or meetings or Teams calls that are happening between your organization and or your being the MSP and their customers. And on the other side, in terms of the financial data and product data, we look at solely the PSA because the PSA typically does your invoicing. It has an understanding of product catalog. It knows what people are contracted to purchase and what they're purchasing on an ad hoc basis. We pull all that data from there. So we don't have a massive set of systems to integrate with, just the PSA is the central one.
Okay, so you're using PSA as true north for that way you're one throat to choke essentially for the integration.
Absolutely. That's where the MSP's customers, like at least contractually, would live. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Cool. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Hamish. I'm gonna bring in Darren back.
Did you see how Adam made? You see how Adam was like, Hamish? He was totally making sure. You could see it in his face. Like somehow this is a difficult word for him. I don't understand why it is.
John, I did not do that.
You're like
my button while actually saying the words, so I hesitated.
That's why.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a relatively common name over here, which is odd because it's a Scottish name. So Darren's probably the most used to it. But yeah, it's I've had it mispronounced.
It's easy. It's just
it's
Amish
so
with an A
easy.
in front of it.
It's
okay.
But you can see him. That's why he slow played. Like that's really great. And he was like thinking, Hamish.
Okay. Thanks, John.
I'm totally calling you up. I'm gonna roll. Let's go.
Thank you. This is the show. So you dig into the details a little bit, Sean. So I'm just curious, right? Where you kind of got your start from, right? Were you an MSP prior, and then you just kind of created the software out of a need?
Yeah, no. So the product idea actually came from the other founder of the company, David Wood. He's on holiday at the moment and couldn't attend the call, but he was running an investment bank in Australia and had teams of investment and account managers reporting to him. And he has this very strong belief that relationships are incredibly valuable in terms of getting deals done. And that data analytics can also provide, I guess, really good input to decision making. So he had this idea that he wanted a platform where he could actually objectively view data about relationships or the interactions between his account managers and his customers. And that's where BeeCastle was really came from. We started off as a relationship analytics product for professional services organizations. And we were doing that for a while, and then eventually we pivoted into the MSP space. MSPs are professional services organizations, but going to basically solely concentrating on MSPs. That was a little bit later, probably about a year down the track for us.
Very nice. Okay, excellent. So I'm just curious of, what traction you guys have gained so far, starting your companies, what have you kind of learned along the way? Darren, let's start off with you. Kind of, what is your traction and kind of where do you see this thing going a little bit? Let's start off with those two questions.
Yeah, so the biggest feedback we've had is what we call the heavy lifting. So where lots of consultancy companies will teach the person what to do, and then they've got to go off and do that. What's evident is MSPs don't have time, they don't have good execution skills, they don't have good communication skills. So we take that away from them and we do that heavy lifting for them. I think another big learning curve is actually via the PitchIT program is because I've been in the peer group Evolve for so long, I go into Evolve speak, and that isolates some people. So that's another big learning curve that I've had around actually keeping away from those words, because I do them almost like as part of English when everybody else doesn't know that.
Yep. So that's fair. It's funny because first off, you guys are in different countries also, so there's already the barrier with simple words. And I'll even use my own. Pittsburgh, we have our own language. Pittsburgh, that like I'm dead serious. Like, so do any of you know what a gum band is?
No.
Right. It's a rubber band. Don't ask me how that happened, but the point is like that English to English translation is definitely crucial. So take away even the evolve speak. You're also on the different vernacular and different words. So you got to be mindful, especially if you're trying to tackle North America, right? Because if I go over to the UK, very different language and certain different words, right? And so I'm glad that you guys are actually, and Darren and I had that conversation about the evolve vernacular. And it's also part of the operational maturity conversation too, which I look at both products, I look at your consulting and Hamish, I look at your product, and I feel like,
He went by mistake.
Again, he was going on that path. It was good. And his laptop just died again. This is going to be great. So, so
I wasn't sure though, Adam, if you actually cut him off on purpose.
My hands are not even like, I'm not even using anything. I'm just looking over here and I'm like, yeah, because my screens are very wide. So I have a very wide view. So, anywho, so that's great. We have definitely different language, different terms, and all that stuff, and it's interesting. Kind of everybody's kind of different parts of the world, right? I think that's where Sean was kind of going, and I think there's a common community that we have, and we have common languages, right? So SLI, I say that a lot of people know. Boom, Service Leadership Index, right? And that's how you set up your chart of accounts, right? So that's pretty common. So not to go too far down that path. But Hamish, kind of what traction have you gained so far with BeeCastle, and kind of where do you see this kind of going on?
Yeah. So with BeeCastle, we've so in terms of traction, I guess we've got but we've been in market for a few years now. We've got a bunch of MSPs on the platform. We offer both a free and a paid product, so we've got a good blend of customers across both of those sets of things. We're international, so we've got paying customers in over 9 countries. And in terms of data within our platform, I think the big thing is we've got about 150,000 contracts between MSPs and their customers in the system for analysis. That's 3 million invoices, or about $4 billion worth of revenue that we've got available for analysis. So those numbers, MSPs can come in all shapes and sizes. So some of our customers are very large. And so, we've got quite a lot of revenue in the system for analysis, which is great. Where do we see this thing going? I guess we're just looking for more growth to increase those numbers, basically. So that's the big thing for us at the moment, is really concentrating on growth. And I guess to do that, we're looking to expand both, the functionality we have available in terms of the breadth and the depth within the platform, and also increase the total addressable market that we've got available through further integrations with other platforms.
Awesome. So that's a good segue into my next question, and I was going to kind of ask is, Hamish, what is the next big milestone in your business, right? So what does that look like for you? What is that big thing that maybe your software development? Maybe you mentioned kind of two different things. So
Yep. So for us, the sort of next big milestone is we want to hit about 300 integrated MSPs. So that's a big number for us. And I guess, so through PitchIT, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, there was discussion about some of the breakpoints with customer numbers. And 300 was considered, I guess, one of the kind of pivotal points for an organization that like ours that's kind of growing, because you're hitting, different types of customers at that point. Customers who you've kind of maybe taken the easier to get customers, and it's a little bit more difficult. It becomes a little bit more difficult for acquisition. So in terms of growing our business to that point, we're looking at more integrations. So expanding potentially outside the MSP core system space into things like HubSpot as a data source, as well as also some accounting systems. Looking to use those to, both drive MSP and potentially non-MSP customers into our platform. And on the sales side, really it's about, I just keep saying, growth. So looking at different strategies we can use to grow the customer base. So at the moment, we do a lot of sort of one-to-one sales. What we need to find is a more scalable way to do that. So we're looking at things like content strategy, influencer strategies, those sorts of ways to get the word out about our platform and generate some of our leads.
Awesome. Thank you. Darren, how about you? What's the next big thing for your organization, the next big milestone you're kind of marching towards?
So we're looking basically to serve 200 partners and retain 95% of what we already have as we grow. So we don't want to become a sieve and not deliver good customer service. So for us, our next biggest milestone is probably more the back end organization and making sure we've got the right people in the right seats at the right time. So then we do deliver that customer service. So we're very much, we use some operational tools and resource demands, etc. So we know exactly where we're at, and we just need to make sure we keep our finger on the pulse there.
Yeah, I have a question about that. How do you scale a scalable MSP? Because when we talk about consulting, you're talking about people typically, right? So do you have an offer that's like a pre-packaged offer on just like maybe a starter kit on, hey, here's things you should do?
Yeah, so we've got some offers like that, but also we've created a strategy from a resource demand point of view where our high value people, i.e. the consulting team, aren't the ones doing tasks that we don't need them to do. When you think about a service desk, you don't need your consultants or tier 3 people doing tier 1 tasks. And that's the strategy we've designed inside our business as well. So there are lots of our heavy volume and time consuming items that don't get delivered by the senior people.
Right. Okay. Now, and just what I was getting to before everything shut down again for the second time. I feel like
there's some good IT companies around that might be able to help you.
You would think, you would think that these hotels would have better Wi-Fi at this point, since they host so many of us. And it's weird as literally they should, and if they can't, they should have hardline stuff at every desk for you to plug into at every table if they can't seem to get the Wi-Fi down. I would just think that. That's right, Hilton, I'm talking to you. Anyway, so it would seem like you guys would have synergy together in a way, right? I mean, if you think about it, you're providing the services and the consulting, and Hamish is providing the delivery mechanism, essentially, just like you're doing. So I would think the next big milestone in general will be, how do you strategically align with each other, and especially on the other side of the pond too, where it's very difficult for these MSPs to grow.
Yeah, we've done some of that as well already, and definitely we want more of that. And that's some of the good advantages of PitchIT, because you get to see another 25 other companies that are coming through. Because, yeah, I mean, I would imagine Hamish, his business, is very much on the data. So if the PSA isn't performing the right data, then the system has no value. And that's what we get a lot from some of our partners, is that the platform is seen as the negative, but actually the data is wrong, and they don't want to get involved in that data algorithm or how that PSA is structured, and so they will bring us in to perform that action.
Yep. I look at, and for you, Hamish, with your product, it's complementary to manage and sell, correct?
Absolutely, it is.
And then the next question, and this is actually probably Darren, why you're even in existence, is as a business, is how do you guys integrate and make it easier to work with? They're never going to leave ConnectWise, right? They're going to use Manage because they've already invested a lot of time, money, everything, right? So how do you? But they're resistant to add other platforms on unless they know that they can stay in the true north, right? So how do you integrate into ConnectWise? How do you make it easier?
Yeah, and for the last sort of 10 years of me running my MSP, I didn't take on any new shiny tool unless you're going to get 90-95% utilization out of it. And you create a strategy to do that. But I believe in the MSP world, it's more like 10-15%.
I would agree.
Actually, there's a lot of value there of using the tools correctly.
I would agree. And it's not just, by the way, it's not even just the MSP world, even in enterprise sales and whatnot, and Salesforce themselves, you see less than 10% adoption amongst companies in Salesforce. It's gotten better because technology has become such a value add. But in the old school, sales reps are retired. They're not using their day timers anymore and writing in their desk calendar anymore. They're actually doing stuff in Salesforce, But it's very challenging. And with that, Hamish, how do you make it effective to lay on top of manage and sell? Like, how do you work in conjunction with us?
Yep. So as I said, we draw data from PSAs. So when someone goes to integrate our platform, they just provide some API keys, and we start to synchronize the data from the PSA into our platform. In terms of working with our platform, we've noticed that we have customers, and they seem to use different size customers use different parts of the product. Which is kind of an interesting dynamic. So we've noticed that our larger customers, they use the relationship tracking functionality within our platform more. I think it's because, I know it's because they have their account managers and their account managers within the platform, and they actually use our platform to kind of manage how the managers are interacting with their clients, and they get that data from BeeCastle, and they have meetings with their team members and discuss the data that's present in BeeCastle about the customers and who they're talking to. For smaller organizations, where they don't actually, where you've got like a technical leader or a smaller organization where you can keep all the customers and interactions in your head, if you're a smaller MSP, they don't use that interaction tracking side so much because they just know who's been spoken to. But what they use more is the sales kind of analytics side of the platform, in terms of things that like looking at long-term trends with customers. So who's growing, who's shrinking, what products they're buying, what they're not buying anymore, those sorts of things. So it's really for us about embedding into the workflow. And so with the account managers, it's more of a weekly, daily workflow. With people who are analyzing sales, it's kind of a monthly, quarterly workflow that they get involved with the platform. So that's kind of how we work with the PSAs and the MSPs. Yeah.
Okay, so that just takes me one more question: is like, do you work in conjunction with QBRs then? QBR companies?
So QBRs do show up in our platform, but typically as like a conventional like meeting with a customer. But that is something that we are considering putting in the platform, kind of more formal QBR planning.
Right.
Understanding if you've got a customer, when you expect to have the meeting with them, and tracking that over time. So kind of having a process of setting expectations within the platform, and then using the platform to track, are those expectations being met?
I think I would say, even if it's hard to be a one size fits all, right? You can't build everything. Yeah. So I totally get why you haven't yet, just like Salesforce never did, right? Yeah. But what about integrating them with QBR platforms that exist today? Matter of fact, we have one in the PitchIT competition. It's over on the other side of the world from us in New Zealand. So, I mean, you guys aren't too far.
No,
So
fair
maybe,
enough.
I just think if you're,
Right.
you have to, I think the challenge has always been with vendors at large, even with MSPs, let's be honest, is trying to be that Swiss Army knife thing where you do everything. So you do nothing well. You do a bunch of stuff okay, but nothing great. So if you thin yourself out and you go too horizontal, you become very thin and you don't really have an effective tool. And I think that what I've noticed over the years from MSPs is they're looking for a one-stop shop, of course, that can do everything, but they also need a place where it can all be hosted, which is why ConnectWise has done what it has done with the ecosystem, right? And that's why you guys are all here. So, I mean, maybe it's something to talk about where, and I'm just talking out loud here,
Yeah.
but like you should be integrating with the QBR, and Darren should be like, hey, I'm going to help these guys implement you all. I'm going to implement and make sure that people are successful with ConnectWise products, but I'm also going to make sure that I implement the third-party pieces they're using to have the enhancements.
I think there's a great thing for you as well on BeeCastle around analyzing the profitability and growth, because what we know is the data tells you that the less usage of the system normally means they've hit a ceiling. So it's all in their heads, but they can't go any further because they can only do so many 70 hours a week. So because it's not in the system, they've actually hit a ceiling, or they're hemorrhaging gross profit. So you could do that analysis to say percentage of PSA system in use means that you'll probably have this amount of gross profit and you'll probably have this amount of growth. And that's what's actually stopping your growth. And that could be a value add.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think one of the things that we've learned through going through, and this is specifically from going through the PitchIT process and the the meetings that we have, is the importance of integrating with the ecosystem and looking for partnerships. So we have boundaries that we know our product fits in, and there's things before data gets into BeeCastle and things after as well. And so, yeah, I think looking at those partnerships and systems that we can integrate with, or things like MSP coaches or Scalable MSP, for example, being able to integrate and working with these other systems is incredibly important. And just in terms of like that ecosystem, because you're right, we're not going to be the best at everything. It's impossible, right. And people create entire companies doing like one little segment of this thing. So being able to integrate and pull that data together, and with our mission to be the number one data science platform, it totally plays into our strategy to actually do that sort of thing. We have had discussions with, in fact, I guess one specific QBR system in the past. That was a good relationship we had with them. But yeah, we started concentrating on our financials at that time. But it's probably worth revisiting.
I believe it should be, because again, if we're on both sides of the house here, between both of you, we're talking about growth, right? Revenue generation. Okay. And we know, traditionally speaking, that MSPs struggle with maintaining value for the life of the customer sometimes, right? Saying what the value of them hiring them, right? For one. For two, they also struggle with keeping things organized in a way and to have account management be successful for upselling growth, right? And so with that, they need to know a few things. One is they need to have a process that they have to work with. They have to have the ability to access data that they're going to use, and they have to be able to put together a proposal to talk about what they need to do to move forward, right? To work together, because MSPs are supposed to be the trusted partner when it comes to the trusted technology partner, essentially, right? That's what they are. And they're supposed to be just like you. When you sit down with your executives and talk about the future of the company, you guys are all talking about the future of the business, right? There's a C-level conversation. MSPs are the C-level conversation when it comes to the information technology part. So again, I mean, and I feel very strongly about that, because being in sales for all the years I was, if I didn't go in prepared, I couldn't go into the meeting. What am I going to say? I'm just going to sit there and breathe heavy into the meeting. There's nothing. So, I mean, like we're eighth grade, like I'm in eighth grade again with my girlfriend on the phone. I don't want to hang up, and I'm just going to breathe heavy until we fall asleep. That doesn't get us anything, right? So, that's right, Adam. I pulled that out of there. But I think it's important that you guys, if you take it, Hamish, and you're the vessel or the operating system, and Darren is the one that's implementing and building it for them, the service, the process, whatever. I think that's dynamic. And if you're adding on QBR and you're adding on whatever else you need to add on, you should be doing it. Not build it, but integrate with it.
Yeah. So, Hamish, you kind of started out, and that was my next question, how the PitchIT program's going. So I'm going to ask that same question to Darren. Like, how's PitchIT? What are the expectations? Are you getting more out of what you initially thought? Because that's pretty. This is all about the PitchIT competition. I'm just curious your thoughts, Darren.
Yeah,
on that.
I mean, Sean talked a little bit of his startup before he got cut off. The first time he got cut off.
It was the first time or second time? Let me know which one.
There's obviously a prize at the end, but actually, I think there's two bigger things, and one is the plan. So there's a 16-week plan, and we meet once a week, and there's a specialized person comes onto that meeting, and so you're hearing from people that have been there and done it from different angles, whether that's building something on somebody else's money or marketing or ecosystem, whatever it may be. And I'm a big believer, like I said a minute ago, about actually stop reinventing the wheel, do as you're told and stop thinking you know better. So if other people can tell me how this actually needs to roll, I'm more than happy to be in that. And that's the big value for me, is those, that actual engagement with those people. And I think secondly, you've obviously got the ConnectWise marketing arm. So whilst you're in this program, leverage that brand and really get involved in that ecosystem and the people that are in it, and build those relationships. I'm a big relationship person, so that's the two big ones for me, really. The cherry on top at the end, almost, something extra. That's not what I did it for.
Yeah.
I think it's so. Again, and I'm going to give Adam kudos on this, because Adam learned how to navigate ConnectWise, how to leverage it for the right things to bring value either to partners, to ConnectWise, and most importantly to grow in his own business. So PitchIT is a good way for you guys if you got, and yeah, Darren, you've been involved in Evolve itself, but like to figure out how to navigate this space. ConnectWise has one of the largest communities in our space, right? If not the largest. And if you're in the best way to figure it out is to partner up with everybody involved, everybody in between, and to be able to promote yourself in it and have success, because you need your face to be seen by everybody to know it. If they don't know you exist, they're not going to do business with you.
There you go. We could get the show right there.
Mic drop. And by the way, speaking from your perspectives, when I was doing startups, I had to do the same thing you guys are doing. I didn't sign up with a PitchIT competition. I wish I would have, because it might have fast tracked me. But again, figuring out where to go, where to invest. You're picking a pony to go with, right? You're betting on the horse, and like that's what you're doing. And it's smart, because you have to invest somewhere. And if you just capture even 10% or 5% of the ConnectWise business partners, I mean, you can probably retire off of that, to be honest.
Yeah. So, Hamish, the BeeCastle, is it integrated specifically ConnectWise only, or is there other platforms that it's integrated?
No, there's other platforms. So we have integration with 3 PSAs at the moment. So we've got ConnectWise, we've got Autotask, we've got Halo. We have also just recently, but we haven't done above the line marketing for this at the moment, but we've also got a Xero, the accounting system integration as well. Yeah, so we've got those, and the Office 365 for interactions.
Being that it's also sales connected, right? What about like integrations to Salesforce or HubSpot or anything like that?
Yeah, so we do have a HubSpot integration in the works. That's coming soon. So that's completed, but we're testing that one at the moment. And then Salesforce, we are looking at that as well, but we have not started development on that, but it is in the roadmap.
Okay.
Are you? Well, that's a good. I'm glad you brought that up. Are you also integrating with marketing automation platforms?
Not yet. So we don't have. I guess where we see BeeCastle at the moment is it's not the kind of system you'd use for lead generation or campaign tracking. But if you've got it's really for kind of existing customers, or if they're in your PSA, then we consider them kind of like a customer that we want to track. So it's about track the people you want to maintain relationships with. Is the type of person that would make most sense to have within our platform.
Right. That's I wonder. If it would make sense to be looking at marketing automation platforms to be integrated with, as far as being able to track scoring from them and heating up leads and put them in the right buckets. And that actually is my next question. Do you have the ability to do like campaigns, like where you can track what campaign they came from? So if I go to a network show, I can plug it in and say, these leads came from here, and I can track the ROI behind it.
Yeah, so if you have that data in your PSA, then yes, we do. So we support like any CRM, most CRM platforms, sorry, we support custom fields. So if you've configured up that data inside ConnectWise and added that data in there as a custom field or an extension to the platform, then that does appear in our platform as well. And we do allow segmentation and reporting on those types of data attributes as well. So if you've got a lead field or a value field or a location field or any of those kinds of things, we can slice and dice the data on those attributes of the customer as well. So you can do that kind of segmentation reporting.
So, and I'll come back over to you, Darren, on this too, because there's a bunch of stuff we just talked about that the platform can do, right? Now the MSP is like, why can't do all that? That's too much work. So do you have any suggestions, Darren, since you do this for a living, on how to expedite that and get that implemented and adoption to happen? Like a simple, easy way to do these things.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to, what's the end goal, and especially sort of if you break that down into like 12 months and then down to a quarter, and making sure you're not doing more than 3 or 4 things every quarter, and making sure that they are smart objectives that's got the right priority within the business. Even use words around this is a P1, so nothing above a P1 can make this meeting not happen, because otherwise people will navigate the holes. So if you haven't got a proper smart objective, they're going to navigate those holes and come back with those reasons why it didn't happen. So it's about setting the team up for success, making sure it's clear, make sure the resource demands are right, and then making sure you don't do more than 3 or 4 things. As MSP owners, we're really good at throwing grenades around and really good at changing our minds every day. And so that just is confusion everywhere and nothing gets done. So it's about that focus, isn't it? About, where are we going and why are we going this way, and making sure you're focused on it. And then using resources around you. If you've got resources, obviously like us, then use those resources rather than you spending 5 times longer doing the same thing.
And that's okay. So let's come full circle on this. We all know MSPs show up at conferences and buy 5 or 10 technologies they don't need.
Any toys.
Where are you going to go there?
You're right. I mean, well, it's a natural evolution of this conversation. How many MSPs go and they buy 10 products, they get all excited, and they use one of them, and only 10% of it. So, just out of curiosity too, and this is for Darren first, because Hamish, you have a product and you want them to buy it. But if I were to say to you, Darren, how should a MSP select a shopping list when they go to a conference, right? How should they prioritize the most?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that with a plans answer. So I am going to answer like an evolved guy. So you've got a plan, haven't you? So what's the end goal plan? Break that down into your business plan, break that down into your yearly plan, into your quarterly plan, and keep on that. And yes, constant adaptation and change is good, but for the right reasons. So you don't go off and buy a tool that has nothing to add value to that plan, and stick to that plan and communicate that plan consistently across your team, across your strategy. Create a plan, work the plan will work. That's the be all and end all of it. Stop letting people do you different ways and making sure that you're using, like for instance, we even would use one package to deliver maybe an extra thing that it doesn't do as well as the next thing, but it's better to keep it in one place rather than adding another tool. So what's the benefit of adding another tool versus using the one you do now? A lot of people talk about some of the things in ConnectWise that don't work quite well. Well, yeah, there are some better tools that do certain segments better, but what's the loss of that data? What's the impact of that versus the gain of what you're going to point it somewhere else?
So if I understand correctly, they first should assess, before they as they put their list together, they should assess the tools that what they're using today, the process, the people, the technologies, see where the gaps are.
What's the end goal?
Right. Based off of, hey, and we'll use to plug Hamish's product even, if they say, hey, we're struggling with growth in sales and account management and whatever, they're gonna say, well, we probably need to upgrade our CRM, right? Or we need to enhance sell or manage, right? So they're gonna say, well, let's first look at the process that we have in place, the people and the actual existing technology we're using to do so. Does it support it? Is it cohesive? If not, now we know that's one of our hit list items, right? And also you mentioned the resources. Can we actually implement it and get it running in time? Otherwise, we bought a vacation home that we can't vacation to.
Yeah, and people spend monthly costs on tools and just don't even log into them. They log in to create a tenant, and then that's it for 6 months, because then they find out actually they've already committed to another 10 things. Right. So that's at the back of the list. So stop getting excited about the new shiny thing you've seen. I was brought up, and I teach my partners, use a Disney drawer. So you need somebody who's going to be in control of the Disney drawer. So you put all the ideas in the Disney drawer and you take one out when you need it, not when you find it.
Nice. Okay. And so Hamish, coming to you then on this, if they say, oh, we definitely need something like this from you all, how does the implementation onboarding process look? What's the time frame before I'm up and operational using you guys?
Yep. Our system doesn't require any configuration apart from the integration keys. So
Sure.
somebody's going to ConnectWise, create the user roles, lock down permissions, then give us the API keys in the platform, and then synchronization starts and it's automated from that point onwards. That's all the setup we need. So it takes, and depending on the size of the MSP and the data, it can take up to a day to sync the data. In terms of the onboarding, on other onboarding, we do have a training program available as a kind of extra cost. We call it 6 peaks in 6 weeks. So it's a 6-week training program. We get people to concentrate on one thing a week to try and operationalize the platform inside their organization. That's been quite successful for us. We kind of do that as an at-cost thing. It's really to get users using the platform and getting the most value out of it is the benefit for us. But they don't have to do that, and people can just self-onboard and start using the platform straight away. We also, I guess, in terms of getting people to keep using it, we also do outreach with emails from the platform. So we have a bunch of reports that are kind of emailed out every week to users just to remind them that the data's there, but also, they provide operational value for people. So specifically around things like opportunities, so which opportunities are stale, which need updating, which ones are at risk. Those kinds of things is what we notify users about. So they don't actually even need to log into our platform to get value out of it. The value can come to them via email.
Yeah. Nice. Sean is off the video right now. So I don't know if he can hear us because he doesn't show he's on. Is he on mute? Probably not. But we're kind of getting near the end of the show here. And so I'm just, one question kind of I have for each of you is kind of, what is, like, you have the PitchIT program. What is the, like, I wouldn't say, what is it? If you were to win the competition, I guess, well, let's start off with this. If you were winning a competition, what would you use the prize money for? Let's go, Darren. Yeah, start with you.
Yep. So mine would be sales and marketing activities. I think like any MSP, you should be sales and marketing driven. And so that's where I would definitely use that money. But for me, it would also be, like I said before, it's more about the brand and the ecosystem, the fact that you could leverage the fact that you've won that program, that would be the value.
Okay. Sales and marketing. Nice.
From our side, it's exactly the same. Yeah, I was thinking about this. Last night. Like, yeah, what would we use that money for? But basically, it would be sales and marketing. So growth is incredibly important for us. So we would, use the money for those activities as well. And like you trying promoting the winning PitchIT would be, I think, the more valuable thing. So getting that market recognition would be the key thing.
Not co-opetition. We're here for money. No, I'm just joking. So, what's the one key message you want our audience to kind of take away about your company and maybe the service offering? And Hamish, let's start off with you.
Yep. Okay. So I guess the key thing for us is that what our platform BeeCastle delivers is actionable insights for sales and account managers and the MSPs to help them retain clients and grow growth and profitability. That's it.
Simple.
By the way, I'm looking at last year's PitchIT winners in front of me. Alert Ops are like literally over there at a table right now. So I would suggest everybody should talk to Cam from Alert Ops that are in the competition and ask him how he won. Just saying, they won everything. So
nice,
right? Cam, I just said that I'm on live with Adam Bolensky and some PitchIT contestants. I told them all to reach out to you to get some of your advice on how to win. He said absolutely.
It's have a great coach.
Yes.
Execute.
So I would definitely make sure you guys do that. I'm done talking about it. Go ahead, Adam. Where were you? I'm totally interrupting you guys.
Totally interrupting. It's all good. Darren, what's the one message you want our audience to kind of take away from your service that you're offering?
Yeah. So we believe growth and stability of an MSP starts with a solid system. So we help them to build that system to unlock the efficiency, profitability, and time back for them so they can hit their business goals and legacy goals.
There you go.
That was good. Done.
I like this. This is like really short, concise responses. This is good. They've been well coached. We're getting
we're well coached in this program.
Yeah.
Wait, well coached too? I don't know who's giving them the coaching, but yeah, they're doing really well. Just saying.
Too kind.
Shameless plugs going on everywhere.
And Sean, we're about halfway through the program. Is that right?
Yeah, we are. We have the semifinals happening in just a little over a month from now. Yeah, a month and about 2 weeks, semifinals take place. The battle royale with cheese. So just saying, it's a big deal. How do you guys feel about that, getting ready for this?
It's an exciting opportunity. No, it really is. It's good. Really, I'm really enjoying this.
I get excited. It's a challenge for me, and I'm glad that I don't have anything to do with the judging. But like, I start to know you guys all so well, and then I feel bad when we only can move 3 on. Like, I feel horrible. I'm like, no, they all should go. I'm like Elmira and Animals on the cartoon. Like, I want to take you all and I want to love you and hug you and squeeze you, kind of. It's horrible. I feel like, seriously, an Animal will test this. Last year at the finals, I had a hard time announcing the winner. I was like struggling because I spent so much time with those guys, all 3 companies. I just felt bad that anybody should not be number 1.
It was good.
Awful. Yeah, it was good. It was the energy was great. Matter of fact, one of the contestants, the reason why he's a contestant on PitchIT, he'll tell you, is because he came to the finals last year. And he's like, this was so awesome. I have to be part of this. Like, because it was great. We had such good support from everybody. The MSPs have really taken notice of this. They're all looking for stack alignments. They're all looking for the right tools, and they trust ConnectWise to vet. This is why the certified integrator program is so important. This is why pitch is important. Like, it's becoming a thing where you guys are becoming part of a short list to shop from.
Yeah.
And you should leverage that, and you should take advantage of it. You should be fully invested in everything that is going on with this, so that the MSPs can find you guys. Right, Hamish?
Right, absolutely, Sean.
Thank you.
There you go. Sean, that sounds like your closing thoughts, man. It has been fantastic, Darren, learn about Scalable MSP, and Hamish about BeeCastle. Opposite ends of the world, but united here through PitchIT. And I can't wait until I see you guys at PitchIT competition at IT Nation Connect. You should go and register now. We're going to be here again, I believe, next week again at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And so looking forward to next week's PitchIT as well. Thank you guys very much. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy your weather in your areas.
Toodles.